know I'm innocent, and I know Lewis is innocent.
Ross talked about being arrested and interrogated by police. He says investigators tried to deceive him on Friday afternoon, shortly after they arrested his fiancée at the Union City BART station without Ross's knowledge.
Jennifer was texting me back and forth. Her text messages didn't make sense, but I found out she wasn't texting. They had her in custody. They had her cell phone texting me.
What were they texting you?
Basically coercing me to come get her at the bar.
I believe that they believed it was a homicide case for a long time. I think that they just adopted that position because they were not able to corroborate any of the statements in their own mind that Mr. Ross has said. I was pretty much shocked that they, in fact, arrested either one of them.
I told them the same story I gave the previous set of detectives. I told the same story I gave the other. They got the same story, but they were not happy with the story that they got. They wanted something else.
Straight out to Sebastian Kuntz, 910 KNEW, Green 960. Sebastian, the foster father and foster mother taken into custody. Everyone, you are seeing grainy surveillance video that has just emerged of the last known sighting. I'm talking family, friends, neighbors, acquaintances, grocery stores, everybody. No one saw little Hasanni, a 5-year-old boy afflicted with cerebral palsy, for 4 days before Daddy reports he has been mysteriously kidnapped at a busy suburban shopping center. Sebastian Kuntz, they're arrested for homicide, but they are walking free tonight. What happened?
Well, basically, it was Jennifer Campbell was released on a lack of evidence on Monday. I think I told you that today. And it was just yesterday that Lewis Ross was released from custody, basically on the same grounds. They don't have the evidence to hold them, and they did their best, apparently. Lewis Ross coming out adamant tonight, again, that he is not guilty and that he is vowing to continue the search for Hasanni Campbell.
To Matt Zarrell, our producer on the story. Matt, it's my understanding police kept hammering home to Daddy that they knew for a fact this little boy, a 5-year-old Hasanni, afflicted with cerebral palsy, he wears braces around his ankles. It's very difficult for him to jump or run. That they know for a fact he was never at that shopping mall, that he was never near that shoe store. How do they know that?
Well, they are saying that they know that. Now, what we do know is that dogs were there immediately after his disappearance. They did not pick up Hasanni's scent in the lot where the car was that day.
Matt Zarrell, explain to me again the canine evidence. What did police say the scent dogs picked up or didn't pick up?
Well, the scent dogs went there, and they did pick up Hasanni's scent inside the BMW, but they did not pick up the scent in the lot where the car was or moving away from the lot.
Out to the lines, Julie in Kansas. Hi, Julie.
Hi, I was just wondering what has turned this into a homicide case instead of a missing person?
It's my firm belief. Let's unleash the lawyers. Susan Moss, Randy Zellen, Paul Batista, and joining us, a special guest from San Francisco, renowned attorney John Burris. He has been the legal advisor for Hasanni's foster parents. Paul Batista, it's my belief that after they interviewed these two, something about their stories didn't hang. It didn't work. It didn't mesh. It didn't jive with the facts, the physical facts they know of. Because after they talked to these two, suddenly it becomes a homicide case.
Nancy, if they had physical facts, these two would still be in custody. They were arrested by the police. The police obviously have a lack of real evidence, and they were released by the police.
When I say physical evidence, it could be, for instance, their story doesn't jive with whomever was inside the shoe store. If those people say, well, none of this ever happened, or surveillance video reveals that they were not there. So that could be deemed physical evidence, but that's not necessarily enough, Randy Zellen, to prove a murder case.
I'm going to return the compliment to Paul. They have nothing on these people, zero. You could have held this guy, if you wanted, on endangering the welfare of a minor for leaving the child alone. They are trying to get these people to say something. They have no body, no motive, no murder weapon. They have nothing. The voice of reason. Homicide investigation, you got me.
Susan Moss?
I was also shocked that they let them go. I thought at least you'd see a child endangerment charge. But the fact that apparently the timeline that was given by these foster parents doesn't seem to match up to the evidence, that's what has caused the police to be so suspicious.
To Dr. Michael Bell, he's the Palm Beach County Chief Medical Examiner. Doctor, police searched both the home and the car. What evidence would they have been looking for?
Probably the most likely thing they're going to look for is blood, traces of blood, any evidence of perhaps cleaning up blood or residue like that.
And Dr. Bell, if Hasanni has in fact been dead, as police believe, since August 6th, the last known sighting by anyone, neighbors, relatives, you name it, what condition would his remains be in now? Could you determine a cause of death?
Well, he'll be decomposed, and if he's out in the elements, he may begin to be skeletonized as well. But the cause of death may still be able to be determined.
To John Burris, the legal advisor for Hasanni's foster parents. John, I understood you came off the case. Are you back on the case now?
Well, I never was off the case. If they were going to be charged with a crime that required other lawyers, I would have been off of that component. But they weren't charged. They never were charged, and I agree with everyone else that there was just no evidence to support this. I don't believe there's any factual evidence that the police have to categorically say they weren't in a location, and there's no evidence that the kid was dead between the 6th and the date of this alleged disappearance. So I think it's all grasping at straws. Look, if they had evidence, they could have kept him in. The DA looked at what they had and realized there was just no evidence whatsoever. Certainly not the kind of evidence you can convict someone on. So I think the police ought to continue their investigation and let it go where it is.
Mike Brooks, what about it?
Nancy, that scent evidence of him being inside the car, but they don't find anything outside? It's not adding up to me. And Dad's story and the polygraph, none of it's adding up, Nancy.